very good afternoon. It is 1 p.m. here in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, and you are just in time for the Ambassador, where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. We begin this bulletin with what's currently happening in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where conflict related to the ongoing multifaceted conflict in the eastern DRC, which has severe consequences for Burundi, along with other neighboring countries, which has a complex relationship with the Democratic Republic of the Congo, with the Burundian government deploying troops to support Congolese forces against the Rwanda-backed M23 rebel group. The conflict, fueled by competition for resources, ethnic tensions, and the legacy of the Rwandan genocide, has led to massive displacement and a significant humanitarian crisis, with many fleeing into Burundi, as Davis Karani now reports.
The tug point to the large-scale violence in the eastern DRC, particularly the M23 rebel group's actions, supported by Rwanda, a neighboring country, has been drawn into the conflict by deploying troops to fight alongside the Congolese army against the M23.
My job is to transport goods to the DRC like flour, water, juice. Today our job is really just to go there. But there is nothing because of the lack of customers due to the war. Our customers are no longer buying as many goods. Before we could make 3 trips a day, but now we are lucky if we can make 2. And sometimes we go there and come back empty-handed.
The intensified fighting has caused a large number of people, many already internally displaced, to seek refuge in Burundi and other neighboring countries. The instability in the eastern DRC has long involved its neighbors, including Rwanda and Burundi, in complex proxy conflict, creating a regional security concern.
Previously, Congolese people came in droves and bought a lot of items, but now they come only in dribs and drabs, and only those who live here close to the border come. Those who used to come from the far reaches of the country no longer come.
The widespread violence has resulted in millions displaced and significant needs for humanitarian aid, including healthcare and basic necessities for those affected.
We come from Congo to buy vegetables in Burundi. We thank God because we often find them and can resell them back home in Congo. Our challenge in Congo is the lack of markets, so we are forced to be street vendors. But we thank God because we earn a little. Sometimes we wake up to the sound of gunfire and we either come or stay. At the start of the school year, it's the same thing. Bullets whistle overhead and we either go home or stay.
Davis Karani for GBS News.
Now we shift the focus to what's currently happening in Egypt, where a train derailed traveling from Marsa Matruh to Alexandria derailed on August 30th, killing 3 people and injuring over 100 others. The accident happened between Fouka and Galal station when 7 carriages went off the track due to subsidence. 2 of the carriages overturned in remote desert area. Emergency crews responded quickly, dispatching more than 50 ambulances. Hospitals across Matruh and nearby regions were placed on high alert, and by evening, most of the injured had been treated and discharged. Transport Minister Kamel El Wazir visited the scene and ordered a technical investigation. Authorities have launched an emergency unit to monitor this situation and continue search efforts. The incident has reignited concerns over rail safety in the country, with more than 200 train accidents reported this year alone. Now shift the focus again to what's happening in South Sudan, where a new push for peace is underway in South Sudan's troubled Tambura region. The United Nations mission in South Sudan is setting up a temporary base to boost security and support communities affected by the ongoing violence. As thousands remain displaced and tensions persist, the mission hopes this move will bring stability to an area long plagued by conflict.
In South Sudan's Tambura region, the United Nations mission in South Sudan is building a new temporary base to strengthen peacekeeping efforts. Since 2021, intercommunal violence in the area has killed many and displaced thousands, forcing families into makeshift camps.
We don't understand the origin of this conflict. We have lived in this camp for about 6 years with hunger and suffering. Our makeshift shelters are in bad shape. The rainy season has made things worse. Now we sleep on rainwater. We cannot farm because we fear being attacked. We urge the government and partners to look into our situation. We cannot leave the camp. We can sleep because the UNMISS peacekeepers patrol the area at night. If they were not here, we don't know whether we would even have been able to sleep.
The new base marks a vital step towards restoring safety and stability. The United Nations mission in South Sudan has already stepped up its presence, working closely with communities to prevent further violence and promote dialogue.
This signifies a lot because we have a lot of resources and positioning ourselves in that new TOD to do more patrols on the ground and to do more engagement and to facilitate peace mediation and peace processes on the ground.
Still recovering from a devastating civil war, South Sudan faces ongoing challenges including corruption, famine, and dependency on aid. But the mission's expanded role in Tambura offers hope, a move towards peace in a country still finding its footing. Elvis Muyodi, GBS News.
Moving forward, Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa met with Pope Leo XIV at the Vatican, signaling strengthened diplomatic ties between Harare and Holy See. The meeting took place at the Apostolic Palace and focused on shared concerns and areas of cooperation. Discussions highlighted Zimbabwe's ongoing economic challenges, including hyperinflation and currency stability and the Church's vital role in providing healthcare, education, and environmental support. Both sides emphasized the importance of continued collaboration to support vulnerable communities. Following the papal audience, Mnangagwa held talks with senior Vatican officials, including Cardinal Pietro Parolin. The meeting also addressed regional stability and the need to promote dialogue, multilateralism, and international cooperation. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is addressing key themes of cooperation, peace, and unity at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization opening session in Tianjin. Speaking alongside Russian President Putin, Modi strongly underscores terrorism, strategic autonomy, and improved ties with China's central messages ahead of the summit's formal proceedings. Here's more of the story from Moline Rono.
Indian Prime Minister Modi met with President Putin, where he paints the SCO as a vital platform for security, connectivity, and opportunity, urging member states to reject double standards on terrorism and to unify their response to such threats. He specifically references the recent Pahalgam massacre, characterizing it as not just an assault on India, but as a broader assault on regional and global security frameworks.
We are committed to taking our relations forward on the basis of mutual trust, respect, and sensitivity. An atmosphere of peace and stability has been created.
On bilateral lines, Modi affirms that India and China are development partners and not rivals, emphasizing the importance of strategic autonomy and urging their relations should not be seen through a third country lens. He directly highlights the new peaceful and stable atmosphere along the border following disengagement and stressed the necessity of tranquility for furthering bilateral development.
At present, the international landscape is marked by intertwined changes and turbulence, and member states face increasingly arduous tasks in ensuring security and development. China is willing to work with all parties to take this meeting as an opportunity to review experience, draw up the blueprint, and jointly promote the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in entering a new stage of high-quality development and high-level cooperation, and to build a closer community of shared future for the SCO.
Modi's remarks reinforce India's push for unity, counter-terror solidarity, and stable neighborly relations, especially with China. As the SCO summit progresses, these themes are expected to shape discussions around regional security, economic integration, and the bloc's evolving geopolitical role.
SCO member states are all friends and partners. We must respect each other's differences, maintain strategic communication, build collective consensus, strengthen unity and coordination, expand the scope of cooperation, make full use of each country's strengths, and shoulder together the responsibility of promoting peace, stability, development, and prosperity in the region.
Molin Rono for GBS News.
And with that, we take a short break. We'll be right back with even more as we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics.
But what is the problem? The problem, people don't want to hear the voice of Jesus, and they don't want to live through the voice of Jesus. But most of the time, people are living their life of struggling. The people who died before receiving Jesus Christ, the people who died in sin, those people, they will go to the judgment, they will go to the fire, and those people will say that they are dead because they will face the second death, which is the hellfire. People without knowing this, people think that, no, I should do something. No, I need to do something. Why? Because they don't know exact heart of God. They don't know exact will of God. And through this, God allowed His goodness. God allowed the problems in our life. And when God allowed this goodness leads us to
AS and A levels is a qualification program that is advanced. That is after one has completed the high GCSE program, then they advise to continue for AS and A level. AS typically is a 1-year program, and A levels is done in the second year after completing the AS level. And this one equips the student with the knowledge that is recommended for the university and also by employers outside the countries or within the country.
Everywhere, GBS.
And now we shift the focus on what's happening in the Gaza, where the United Nations has issued a stark warning, stating that Gaza is falling into a severe famine. 500,000 people are already suffering from extreme hunger, with another 160,000 at risk in the coming weeks. UN relief agencies say aid is being halted at the border, and hospitals are running out of critical medicines. Additionally, fears of a disease outbreaks are increasing as doctors report a rise in suspected cases of Guillain-Barré syndrome, a condition that can cause paralysis but currently has no available treatments. Humanitarian officials emphasize that the entire Gaza Strip urgently needs safe and unrestricted access for food and medical supplies, or the crisis will worsen into an even greater catastrophe.
There are supplies going in to these militarized distribution hubs. We don't have oversight over all of that. What remains is that we have a declared famine in Gaza, and there are 500,000 people in that phase right now, expected to rise by about 160,000 more in the coming weeks. They all need food. The entire Gaza Strip needs food. There would not have been a declared famine had there been sufficient amounts of food. The number to look at now is the number of people in IPC 5. And the number of people in IPC 5, that is going to go up in the coming weeks if nothing changes, because that rise is based on the assumption that nothing radically changes. So we are on a descent into a massive famine, and we need massive amounts of food getting in to the Strip and safely distributed across the Gaza Strip.
94 suspected GBS cases, Guillain-Barré syndrome, were reported across the Gaza Strip. This increase is partly also now due to increased surveillance. After the first cases appeared, surveillance was increased, especially by the Ministry of Health, with support of WHO and the partners. There's the first line of treatment for Guillain-Barré, which is called an intravenous immune globulin or a plasma exchange. But these two are at zero stock, as are anti-inflammatories, and therefore these deliveries must be urgently expedited, as much as surveillance and testing capabilities.
Detroit's People's Conference for Palestine concluded today with a powerful and urgent message, turned the rising outrage across the United States into tangible action in support of Gaza. The gathering brought together activists, community leaders, and campaigners, demanding that elected officials, institutions, and citizens convert their frustration into policy pressure, the humanitarian aid, and sustained solidarity. According to one delegate, he says that our outrage must no longer stop at protest. Now it must become organized, strategic, and effective. As the conference ends, the message is clear: mobilize that public anger into meaningful real-world impacts.
As Israel began its assault on Gaza, it was student protests encampments at U.S. universities that first grabbed nation attention. One of the messages at the Second People's Conference for Palestine is that though the encampments have been swept away often quite brutally by authorities, the student movement is still active.
The student movement is not only encampments, it's not only protests. There's a lot going into political education, into building communities, building cross-movement solidarity across different movements, and this is happening.
So much of the discussion here is about how to transform U.S. public recognition of the Israeli genocide into action.
by intensifying the already tangible unease of the Democratic Party over Israel heading into the midterm elections, or embarking on direct action at the local level to stop the U.S. weapons flow.
We're ready to go. Ultimately, we're going to leave this conference with action in mind, not statements, not slogans, none of that. We brought together thousands of organizers, activists, people who have actual bases of support back home looking for direction.
Activists are also connecting the Gaza genocide to other issues of concern to the American public, such as inequality, racism, political corruption, and district of mainstream media. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm Paul M. Minor.
And now to a story that has shocked the whole continent. A powerful earthquake has struck eastern Afghanistan, leaving hundreds dead and many more injured. The late-night tremor devastated villages near the Pakistan border, with rescuers now racing against time in remote and mountainous terrain. A strong earthquake with a magnitude of 6.0 struck eastern Afghanistan near the Pakistan border, primarily affecting Kunar and the Nangarhar provinces. The earthquake occurred late at night, around 11:47 p.m. local time, causing severe destruction to villages built mostly from mud and stone. The earthquake's shallow depth of about 8 kilometers intensified the damage. The death toll, reported by the Taliban-run Afghan Interior Ministry, reached at least 622 people, with over 1,500 injured, and the figures are expected to rise as emergency teams continue rescue operation in this remote, mountainous terrain. The earthquake also triggered landslide that blocked roads, complicating access for aid workers. Helicopters and rescue teams from nearby provinces were deployed to assist the survivors and transport the injured. The hardest hit district include Nugal, Saki, Wasapur, Manugi, and Chapadara in Kunar province and part of the Nangarhar province. The region's vulnerability is due to both its tectonic setting at the convergence of the Indian and Eurasian plates and the poor construction standards of local homes, which cannot withstand such seismic activity effectively. Aftershock following the main earthquake were also reported, adding further challenges to the rescue efforts. And now on to sports news, and not a good news to Manchester City's fan, where the Premier League campaign took an unexpected twist as they fell 2-1 to Brighton at the Amex Stadium, a defeat that not only dented their hope but also highlighted their vulnerability against a resilient opponent. Despite striking fast and appearing in control during the Pep Guardiola side stand, the final whistle confirmed a famous 2-0. And that's all for today with me, Ambassador Susan Nganga, on The Ambassador. Follow all of our stories at GBS TV Africa. It's updated throughout the day. We meet every day from Monday to Friday as we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. Thank you for your time and company.
Everywhere, GBS.
Hello, kids.